Lady Olenna Tyrell was a very important old lady in Westeros. She came from the rich House Tyrell of Highgarden. Many people knew her by a special name. They called her the Queen of Thorns. This name was given to her because her words were very sharp. She was not afraid to say what she thought. Her sharp words were like thorns on a rose. Olenna Tyrell was small and seemed like a gentle grandmother, but she was much more than that. She was very smart and understood politics very well. She always worked to make her family, House Tyrell, more powerful. She did not like the name Queen of Thorns herself. However, the name showed how people saw her. They respected her, and sometimes they feared her. She played a big part in many important events. These events happened in the land of Westeros. She was known for her quick thinking. She could make plans that others did not see. Her mind was always working. She wanted to protect her family. She especially wanted to protect her granddaughter, Margaery Tyrell. Olenna was not always a Tyrell. She was born as Olenna Redwine. Her family, House Redwine, was also a very old and noble family. They lived at a place called the Arbor. The Arbor was famous for its strong ships and its very good wine. Olenna grew up in this rich place. Her father was Lord Runsford Redwine. He was the head of their family. When Olenna was a young girl, around 9 years old, she was promised to a prince. This prince was Daeron Targaryen. He was the son of King Aegon V Targaryen. Being promised to a prince was a very big deal. It meant she could become a princess, or even a queen. But Olenna said later that she made sure this marriage did not happen. She did not want to marry him. The official story was different. The maesters, who are like wise teachers, said that Prince Daeron broke the promise. This happened when they were both 18 years old, in the year 246 AC. Olenna often spoke badly about the Targaryens. After the Targaryen betrothal ended, Olenna Redwine made a different match. She married Lord Luther Tyrell. The Tyrells were the lords of Highgarden. Highgarden was a beautiful and wealthy castle in the Reach. The Reach was a land full of farms and flowers. By marrying Luther, Olenna became Lady Olenna Tyrell. She joined one of the most powerful families in Westeros. This marriage was important for her. Olenna had her own thoughts about her husband, Luther. She said he was a kind man. She also said he was not bad in bed. However, she also thought he was a bit foolish, an oaf. She believed he was not very clever. Luther Tyrell did not live a very long life. He died in an accident while he was out hunting with hawks. He was not paying attention and rode his horse off a cliff. Olenna and Luther had 3 children together. Their oldest child was a son named Mace Tyrell. Mace became the Lord of Highgarden after Luther died. Lady Olenna Tyrell was a small woman, especially when she grew old. She was described as wrinkled and about the size of a child. Her hair was white. She had soft hands with spots and her fingers were thin. Sometimes she smiled without showing any teeth. She often smelled of rose water, a sweet flower smell. But she also had the sour breath of an old person. She walked with a cane to help her. She often pretended to be weaker than she was. For example, she claimed to be almost deaf. She would ask people to speak louder, but this might have been a trick. It allowed her to hear things carefully, or it made people think she was not paying attention. Despite her old look, her mind was very sharp. Sir Aris Oakhart, a knight of the King's Guard, thought she was a very strong woman. Olenna was famous for her cunning and her very sharp words. She had a wicked wit. When big events started happening in Westeros, Olenna Tyrell travelled to King's Landing. King's Landing was the capital city where the Iron Throne was. Her granddaughter, Margaery Tyrell, was going to marry King Joffrey Baratheon. This was a very important marriage for House Tyrell. It would make Margaery the queen. Olenna went to the city to oversee things and make sure everything went well for her family. Once in King's Landing, Olenna quickly started to understand the situation. She met with many important people. She wanted to know more about King Joffrey. She had heard troubling things about his personality. She talked to Petyr Baelish, also known as Littlefinger. Petyr Baelish told her good things about Joffrey in public. but secretly he hinted that Joffrey was cruel. Olenna was smart enough to see the truth. Lady Olenna also met Sansa Stark. Sansa had been promised to Joffrey before. Sansa had suffered because of Joffrey's cruelty. Olenna wanted to hear from Sansa directly. She invited Sansa for lemon cakes and chats. During one talk, Olenna asked Sansa about Joffrey. To make sure no one else heard, she ordered her jester, Butterbumps, to sing very loudly. Olenna Tyrell decided that King Joffrey Baratheon was too dangerous for her granddaughter. She did not want Margaery to suffer under such a cruel king. So Olenna made a secret and very bold plan. She decided that Joffrey had to die. This was a huge risk. Killing a king was the worst crime. But Olenna was willing to do it to protect Margaery and secure her family's future. The perfect time for her plan was Joffrey's own wedding feast. This was when he married Margaery. Many people would be there. It would be chaotic. Peter Baelish later hinted to Sansa Stark how it happened. He suggested that Olenna was the one who poisoned Joffrey. She used a rare and deadly poison called the Strangler. It was hidden as a black amethyst stone in a hairnet. Sansa Stark unknowingly carried the poison. Olenna had given Sansa the hairnet. Just before the feast, Olenna spoke kindly to Sansa. She expressed sadness for Sansa's losses. While talking, Olenna gently adjusted Sansa's hairnet. It was at this moment that she likely took one of the poison crystals. Later, during the feast, Joffrey drank poisoned wine and choked to death. Olenna Tyrell was very skilled at making alliances. She knew that friendships with other powerful families were important. After King Renly Baratheon died, House Tyrell needed new friends. They decided to support King Joffrey. This alliance was sealed by Joffrey's marriage to Margaery. Olenna was a key person in these talks. She made sure the Tyrells got a good deal. One of Olenna's plans was to marry Sansa Stark to her grandson, Willas Tyrell. Willas was the heir to Highgarden. If Sansa married Willas, House Tyrell would have a connection to the north. This would make them even stronger. Olenna and Margaery secretly plotted this marriage. They were kind to Sansa and tried to arrange it. However, Peter Baelish found out about their plan. He told Tywin Lannister. Tywin Lannister then forced Sansa to marry his own son, Tyrion Lannister. This stopped Olenna's plan for Sansa and Willas. Tywin Lannister also had another idea. He wanted his daughter, Cersei Lannister, to marry Willas Tyrell. Olenna did not like this idea at all. She cleverly stopped this plan. After King Joffrey died, and later Tywin Lannister also died, things in King's Landing changed again. Cersei Lannister became more powerful. Cersei did not trust the Tyrells. She suspected they were involved in her father Tywin's death. She also thought they helped Tyrion Lannister escape. Cersei found an old gold coin from Highgarden in a guard's room. This made her even more suspicious of Olenna and her family. At Tywin Lannister's funeral, Olenna was her usual outspoken self. She made comments that were not very respectful. She talked about the new master of coin, Giles Rosby. She also mentioned the bad smell from Tywin's body. Despite the tensions, Olenna insisted on staying in King's Landing. She wanted to be there for Margaery's wedding to the new king, Tommen Baratheon. Tommen was Joffrey's younger, kinder brother. Olenna drove a hard bargain for Margaery's marriage to Tommen. She wanted the wedding to happen quickly. She also insisted that Tommen and Margaery spend their wedding night together. She even vouched that Margaery was still a maiden. Lady Olenna Tyrell left a big mark on the world of Westeros. She was remembered for her intelligence and her sharp, witty sayings. One of her famous quotes was, "All men are fools, if truth be told, but the ones in motley are more amusing than ones with crowns." This showed her view of powerful men. She was not easily impressed by titles or authority. She saw people for who they really were. Her protection of her family, especially Margaery, showed her strong loyalty. Even though she often criticized her son Mace, she always worked to make House Tyrell stronger. Her actions, like her role in Joffrey's death, had huge effects on the story. She was a brave and daring player in the dangerous game of politics. People respected her, feared her, and were often amused by her. Even a ship in the royal fleet was named by King Tommen.